Welcome to Two Bitches in a Broom podcast for I don't know what episode, quite frankly, anymore. Like maybe we're on 20. I don't know.
I think it's
And
22. I think it's
22. Oh, okay.
maybe.
22. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. And the topic that we're going to get into and talk about today is overcoming fear and power of positive thinking. Oh. So I feel like those two things kind of go hand in hand and work off each other. I feel like right now, too, is a time where a lot of people are being confronted with their fears,
Mhm,
shadow,
mhm.
all of what is swept under is coming forth for everyone. And that brings up so much fear and hesitation, right? At
Yeah,
least I feel like.
yeah,
Um, man, overcoming fear is a bitch.
yeah.
It
It's definitely not an easy road. I don't think
mm-hmm.
it's an easy road for anybody. And I think that also goes hand in hand with the year of the dragon, the karmic year, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yep.
I've
Yep.
seen it on social media where people are like they're recording themselves listening to some metaphysician who is sitting there saying, "Oh, it's the karmic year," and they're like, "Oh shit." Like, oh, I don't know how this is
Yeah.
gonna work out for me. Yeah.
Every time someone hears karma, they automatically go to the negative stuff,
Yep.
the bad stuff, like
Hmm.
ooh, karma. But
Hmm.
karma is also like, at least just my opinion of it, karma is also an opportunity of reflection,
Yeah.
in whatever it was, whatever however it's going to look like for you.
Yeah.
There is karmic cycles in that aspect of the choice.
Hmm.
And there's fantastic karma for the stuff that you put out, right? Because
Yeah.
energy matching, it's really just energy matching. But when it's not energy matching to your liking, then maybe we like, oh, I think this kind of goes too with like the power of positive thinking, but just shifting your perspective when you look at it.
Yeah.
You know, is it like, oh, karma? I don't know how well that's going to be. I wasn't the nicest person or the most mindful person. Or maybe, you took a detour on your path and you're worried about the repercussions that's going to happen. But it's also a good time of reflection on that instead of looking at it like, oh gosh, what's going to happen now?
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like even though we have that coming, that aspect coming back, circling back around, I just feel like there's also opportunity to shift it as it's coming back around, right? Does that make sense?
It
Like
does.
when
Yeah.
it's coming to you, and if it's not the best thing, or a lot of reflection time, you can acknowledge it and sit with it and accept it and shift it all at the same time, right?
Hmm.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a lot
Yeah.
easier said than done for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hi.
She's like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Hi. Have we met? Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, resistance. Oh gosh. Should be my middle name. Hardhead should be my middle name. But yeah, I think like this is that year, this is the energy, this is the time for all of that karmic cycles to come full circle
Mhm.
to, and we've talked about this before too, even timelines anchoring into place, what reality do you want to live in and exist in? That brings the fear of moving out of your comfort zone. This is why so many people just remain complacent, because it's feels a lot safer, even if they hate it, of stepping out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, I think what I find, I just gotta say it. I've said this earlier today too.
Hmm.
I find it very interesting as human beings, as infinite souls, infinite souls, meaning we're never going away. We're always going to be around, right?
Hmm.
That we are tied up on we must, we should, we have to. There's a limited time to get it done. I
Mm,
find that so
yes.
humorous because
Yeah.
it's like you got all the universal time you need. I mean, time is an illusion of man, anyways. I mean,
Hmm.
it's created by man, so it's an illusion.
Hmm.
So why are we in this? We must, we should, we have to. And 90% of fears are in relation to time.
Yes.
90% of our
Never
brain.
enough time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Never enough time.
yeah.
Yeah. And when you hear people talk about that, and I mean, I'm sure we all have said it at some point, the number one complaint everyone has always, is there's never enough time. There's never enough time. And well, what if you did get more time? You're still going to say there's never enough time because it's like it's that hamster wheel
Yep,
of completion, the
yep,
finish line, right?
yep.
And the finish line, all it does is just keep getting moved and moved and moved and moved because we are our own worst critics and we are
Pretty consistently.
pretty. And one thing I'm consistent about is being my own worst critic. I think that's, we all are like that. And when we find, I feel like that's also like tied to, like what you're saying with the we have to do, accomplish, achieve. It's when society, I feel like this is part of societal programming too, of never allowing yourself to be in a place of peace
Mhm.
and joy and accomplishment, and just kind of sit in that. It's always what's the next, what's the next, what's the next.
Yeah,
Isn't that tiring? I'm tired.
yeah.
I'm Yeah.
I think that personal growth happens for everybody upon reflection. That's the only time
Mm-hmm.
you're going to actually have personal growth because
Oh yes.
if you have a lesson, whatever it may be, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you reflect upon it, then you can go, ah, I see. I see where I want to change that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a different decision, or I see how that decision impacted others around me, and I'm happy with my decision. Regardless, you're making personal growth upon reflection. But
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we're so busy moving from one thing to another thing to another thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no time for reflection for folks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you call it what whatever you want to call it, but like I see it when I have my clients come in and there's like this mental checklist in their head and it's full, and if one thing is removed, boop, another one
Another
takes
thing,
its spot,
right? Yeah,
you
right in
know.
its place. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just what I mean, it's I'm like, aren't you tired? I mean, I'm exhausted just looking at your brain, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just had a conversation similar to that this week too with someone about that. It was uh I have all of these things and I get to, I feel like again we are our own worst enemy and we are our own worst critic of when we feel the shift happening,
Hmm.
we have to know. Like when we talk about empirical pause, right? Empirical
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
and just living in that limbo, allowing yourself to exist in the limbo state.
Hmm.
It's that list just starts to nag at you and amplify and more because I know that this is happening. I know this change is coming. I know that, but I need to know how's that going to look? What's that going to be like? And I looked at this person and I was just like, why? Why? What does it matter?
Yeah.
What does it matter? Right.
Yeah.
And I can see, just like you, I perceive like, oh my God, it's just like so much chaos going on. And I think I've made this point, reflect back on your journey so far, right? Hasn't haven't things always worked out? May not have been the way you wanted to,
Mhm.
but it's worked out, right? And you're here. So why wouldn't it work out moving forward?
Yeah.
And it was like this, I could I could see it in the brain kind of just like with this person. I was like, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
the rush? Just let it unfold,
Yeah.
you know? But I think we're nosy by nature. Majority of us are.
Sure. At least I am.
And
Yeah.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, me too. I blame it on my grandma. But we're nosy by nature. So anytime anything's coming for us and we feel it, your soul is pinging you that a shift is occurring, then we
Mhm.
must then that the must, the do, the know, the how, the when amplifies. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we're all guilty of it on some level, on some degree. But yeah, with that, overcoming fear, it's going to come up when it comes to that. And it's your choice.
I agree with that. And I also think that if you take a look at what you're fearful of, like first identify that, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. And if it's, um, I'm just giving an example, but
Mm-hmm.
let's say that there's a bunch of layoffs at work and
Mm-hmm.
you're in fear that it will happen to you next.
Mm-hmm.
Shift that fear to excitement because fear and excitement very close on a vibrational level that you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of shift it to go into that higher vibration of excitement. You
Mm-hmm.
can take
Yep.
that jump from fear to excitement very quickly. You can change
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yep.
when you start to feel that fear, you can change it into excitement by, I'm so excited to see what comes next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see what unfolds. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so excited to see what the universe is going to put out in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it
Yep.
may be.
Oh yeah.
The interesting concept is that one thing you can guarantee, nothing is constant in life. Nothing, nothing. So if you can accept that and go, I will never have a constant in my life, I will always have change because change is required for growth. Change
Mm-hmm.
is required for knowledge. Change is inevitable.
Yep.
That when you're approached with things like that, you can go, okay, I'm excited. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see what happens next, whatever it may
Yeah.
be,
Oh yeah.
you
Because
know?
it picks up in the body in such close proximity of each other.
Mhm.
You have the choice to determine what it's going to be. You
Yeah.
create your own reality. So, are you going to feed your energy into the fear, or are
Mhm.
you going to feed your energy into
Yeah.
something far more powerful? And the potential is the excitement, right? Like,
Yeah, because essentially what happens is, right, everything works off of frequency, right? So
mm-hmm,
it's frequency, emotion, then motion, then time. That's how the universe works. It's not to be all sciencey,
yeah,
but just to explain how it goes through
mm-hmm,
the body, you have this thought. Somebody says, "Oh, they're doing cutbacks." It goes into your brain. Somebody is doing cutbacks. It connects with your heart and your heart goes, somebody's doing cutbacks. You can go, oh shit. And it's going to drop lower into the root, safety and security.
mm-hmm,
You just dropped your vibration.
mm-hmm,
Or you can allow that to shift into excitement, which will go up to the third eye, which will then be, I wonder what the universe has in store for me.
mm-hmm,
Higher vibration than where you were originally at. with the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So the heart will then allow, as you're making this decision of up or down, right? Then you're going to have an emotion attached with it. That emotion is so important because that's what you're sending out to the universe,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, oh shit, the universe is going to go, wow, she loves being worried about cutbacks. Let's give her a whole bunch of shit to worry about, right? Right?
Yeah,
Because you
exactly.
have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're moving it up here and you're like, wow, I can't wait to see what the universe has in store for me. The universe is going to go, oh my God, she loves surprises. She can't wait to see what's in store for her. Let's send her more of that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you have that thought process and that emotion, excitement or fear, immediately your body responds to that. Immediately it goes in motion. That emotion causes motion, it causes
Mm-hmm.
action. What are you going to do with it?
Yep.
You're going to curl up in the ball, be depressed, be scared, start pinching pennies, or are you going to trust, believe, continue to live your life, feel like anything is probable, anything is possible, because through those actions, you're further manifesting with that
Mm-hmm.
emotion you set forth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, like I tell people when we talk about this topic of if everything, we are in the existence of infinite possibilities. So everything is any thought that you entertain is already a possibility. So what you're going to call forth, and right, like doesn't speak in uh the universe doesn't speak in reading between the lines.
Right.
Oh, she's having a hard time right now, but it's
Yeah.
just temporary. We're going to do that. No, it's, oh, she must like that. So let's serve more, right?
Mhm.
So, what are you emitting out to the universe? What is your calling card going to be?
Yeah.
And what tone do you want to set,
Yeah.
And when you have that, I think of terms into like when you're explaining that of when you're going through how it processes through the body
Mhm.
of what a great opportunity for the universe to show you how amazing your life can get,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not throw that out there? Wow, the universe is about to show me how much more amazing my life can get,
Yep.
or, you know,
Yeah.
show me how valuable I am, how blessed I am,
Yep.
rather than the dump. I
Yeah.
just call it the dump.
Yeah.
Like when you entertain those things, you just dumped yourself.
Yeah.
And then you got to work
Absolutely.
harder to get back out of it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
again,
Um,
work
and
smarter, not harder.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people kind of get lost in that. Um, and this is something I even like through my entire development, I have constantly reminded myself of. To
Mm-hmm.
this day, I still remind myself of this when I have things that have occurred in my life, and I'm like, okay, what the hell was that about? You know what I mean? Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
If you believe in the spiritual process, if you believe that, which I believe, that before we even are conceived upon the earth plane, we sit down and we decide what we're going to do here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your higher self is, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to meet this person. We're going to have these individuals in our life. We're going to achieve these goals. This is the lessons I want, yada, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you subscribe to that belief structure, then you have to ask yourself, are you trusting, if you're having problems trusting the
Right,
universe,
right.
do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? Because your higher self is who designed this lifetime. And if you know thyself enough, like I know
Mm-hmm.
myself enough, I am not going to have a hard time. I know
Mm-hmm.
myself enough. I'm going to live an abundantly blessed life. I
Mm-hmm.
know that. I have no doubt about that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because
I,
myself isn't going to set me up for bullshit. I mean, there's free
Yeah.
will. I can
Well,
choose that.
that's kind of like my point too when I talk to people about this of just think about it for a second. Why would you come to sign up for all the bullshit?
Yeah.
Why would anybody? That doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like, a good time. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty damn sure that I refuse to exist on this plane and not have anything but the
Yep.
best,
Yep.
you know?
I agree.
And the point I made too with that one person, we had this conversation just this week too of when you have that expectation, I expect the universe to surprise me and bless me in all the best ways and show me how amazing my life can get more and more and more and more and more because there's no other option.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, how can you shift that? Because there's no other option.
Yeah.
And period.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
I
I
mean,
accept nothing less.
the universe doesn't hear no.
Mm-hmm.
It does not hear no. So if you're like, I don't want, the universe has no idea. It hears want and it hears what
And
you're talking
after,
about.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So like, I don't give you more than that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think a lot of people get caught up in that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's cool, I get it. And I'm not saying that I have never experienced the crybaby poop my pants. I feel
Oh,
sorry for me.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think that's part of the human existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not claiming that, people don't experience that. That's cool. You do you. I give myself a certain amount of time.
Yes.
I've always done that. I
I'm
will
famous
allow
for
my,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I will allow myself this period of time. And I
Mm-hmm.
do that upon reflection. And I
Mm-hmm.
do genuinely reflect
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, if this was put before me again, how would I proceed? Is there things I would change?
Yep.
What is the scope and breadth of it? And how would I respond in the future? And that is so I can concretely put that in my head. So
Mm-hmm.
I never make those choices similarly again.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
then I go, okay, duly noted. Time to fucking move on. You
Mm-hmm.
can't
Mm-hmm.
live in that energy. It's so damaging.
No, you
So
can't.
damaging.
But that's why I'm a fan of, give like I just call it the 2 minutes, right? So you give yourself, but
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
that's it.
and
Yeah.
I've done it my entire existence. I've just naturally done it.
Mm-hmm.
You go through things, sure, but you give yourself that time.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself I just call it 2 minutes if it's like a day or, whatever, but give yourself that pause.
Mm-hmm.
Let yourself acknowledge all that you're feeling because if
Mm-hmm.
you're not acknowledging it, it's going to keep circulating, right? Like
Yeah.
the nagging toddler.
Yeah.
Mom, 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 mom. It's going to keep doing that. So acknowledge it. It doesn't mean that you're subscribing to it. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're acknowledging its existence.
Yep.
And then put yourself in the student seat.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this situation? Take that broader look at it, reflection,
Mm-hmm.
what are you learning from it? What was this experience? What were the results?
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff, because now you made room for your critical thinking mind to have a say.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get ourselves like out of the funk the best? We have to get out of the emotion and let our critical thinking mind kind of process us
Yeah.
through the stuff,
Right.
right? And like just like you were saying, then okay, what do you endeavor to never do again?
Yeah. Yeah. My famous saying,
You're
endeavor
saying
to never. I
endeavor to
endeavor to
never.
never do that again.
So, what is it that you're taking with you as an empowered lesson and choice? Not
Right.
in a, I never want to make that mistake again. No, it was just a choice. But
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, how are you going to move forward empowered?
Sure.
Wow, I've experienced that. That brought this. I've learned from that. You know, my soul is taking such a valuable lesson with me, adding to my repertoire, and you move on with that. you make the choice to move on from it.
You do.
Um, and it's so much like just the vibration alone from acknowledging the existence of those emotions just shifts such. I've seen it. It's not that I like to say this, but it's kind of like a fun thing to see with people when they're having this dump, and then we just sit there and take the 2 minutes to just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Man, I could see that frequency already start to shift
Mm-hmm.
just by acknowledging it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know?
You just, in my experience, if you reflect upon it, and the most important part is not to judge it, just
Yes, good
reflecting,
point. Good point. Yeah.
reflecting. In the third dimension, that's all we do is judge for some ungodly reason. Um, but if you just reflect and you go, okay, I don't like that choice. If I
Hmm.
had to do it all over again, I would make the next choice. So if I'm
Yeah.
ever confronted with this issue in the future, I will change it. Or you may reflect and say, you know what, there was absolutely nothing I could change in this circumstances. I'm quite
Hmm.
happy with all of my choices.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Duly noted. Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's all you can do. There
Oh,
is
yeah.
no good or bad. There is no right or wrong in any of your decisions. You are in the perfect space and the perfect place for you right now, all the time, all
Hmm.
of the time. Every choice that you make is simply moving you forward along your path in life. It's either going to be a blessing or a lesson. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You're
And
going to learn.
a lesson is still a blessing.
And yeah, and not in
Still
a
a
bad
value.
way, not like your
No.
mom,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna learn from that. No, that's not what I
Hmm.
mean. You're gonna learn. You're gonna have knowledge. You're gonna be feel empowered by having that knowledge.
Hmm.
I think people lose that. They lose
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that you're empowered every time you gain information, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's that measurement of success, and that what do you, I feel like it's like the justification for your time and your life and everything too that
Yeah,
people fall into.
yeah,
Um, you should, it's like that old mentality of checklist thinking.
yeah.
By the time you're this age, you should have this figured out. And
Mhm.
what's the one thing I know, like, I know I tell even like the young ones when a lot of people say, "What are you going to do when you finish school? What's your plan? What's this? What's that?" And I'm like, plans change too. Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
You know, what
absolutely.
are you gonna do A, B, and C? And I'm like, follow your passion, man. What does it lead you to?
I know.
What are you passionate about? Do that. Don't do what other people are expecting you to do, because it's not going to last. You're not going to find fulfillment in it. You're just going to resent it. So why not do what you're passionate about? And that's going to change too over time.
I agree. I
The only thing
agree.
we're guaranteed is we came in and we're leaving. At
I
some point we
agree.
came in and at some point we're leaving. That is the only guarantee that you have. So why waste any more time doing something someone else expects you to do?
And I think it's, I say this during shadow work. Like Chris, your life experience is totally different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
So through the filter of my lens on life, I'm going to make different choices than you would make.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because through your filter of life, you can say, oh, that doesn't seem like an appropriate choice. That's not going to work for me, for my path.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that everyone, you
Yep.
know? So these blanketed perceived rules that you should apply across the board for everyone is complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Complete nonsense. Um,
Yep.
don't look, in my opinion, don't look to your neighbor to find out how you should, navigate life. Look within
Mm-hmm.
yourself. I can't say that enough. I
Oh
can
yeah.
I
It's like
cannot
that
say
whole,
that enough.
what is that called? Like like fucking keeping up with the Joneses kind of
Yeah, yeah,
mentality, like don't. Your path is not going to look like anybody else's path. And what you decide to do is not going to be copacetic for everybody else either.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, when you're in this position where you are in the precipice of this change and shift and approaching your fears and shifting your thinking, because I feel like right now it's really heavy in the collective, that opportunity to shift your perspective more so than I've ever noticed in years before, of how imperative it is for people right now to understand your divinity and your connection to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
your reality. And I mean, I'm sure we all, I can only speak for myself, and I'm sure you've practiced this too, but you know, even to this day, there's still moments where you step back and you do a check-in. Am I in alignment? When
Mhm.
things are like, dominoing and going off, okay, let's look, step back, reflect, like what you said. Did I I like to call it a detour. Did I take a detour? Did I go on a scenic route?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I like to get distracted sometimes and I go look at the circus on the exit, right? Did I do that?
Wait a minute. What the hell
Wait a
just
minute.
happened? Right? Yeah.
I saw a sign and I took the exit. What happened?
Yeah.
But reflect, take the time to step back and take a look at everything. And then again, intention is so powerful.
It is.
Intention is so powerful. Redirect your energy, set your intention to reconnect, do whatever it is. Like, if you took the exit and went to go to the sideshow circus for a second, come back, you know, it's it's not the end all be all. I know it may feel like it when
Hmm.
you're sitting in the dump, but you can shift it. Anybody can. You just have to make the choice to do so.
Yep. I
Oh
agree with
yeah.
that. I agree with
Mm-hmm.
that. Your intention is everything. Do you know how many times I've had people say, why aren't you advertising? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you, you know, um, advertising your business?
Mm-hmm.
I'm busy. I am extremely full. I'm busy. I don't advertise because
Mm-hmm.
my intention is to every single day that I wake up and I come into my office, my calendar is full and my calendar is full.
Mm-hmm.
There are days where I will say, I need this time off. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, never fails to happen. Like, my daughter had to go to the doctor and she wanted me to accompany her, even though she's an adult.
Right.
And I was like, man, I don't know. I might have to move some clients around. And we were out at that time. By the time I got home, all three of those clients had said, I'm really sorry to do this, but I'm not going to make it tomorrow. All three of them. Don't tell me intention isn't powerful. It is
Mm-hmm.
extremely powerful. It
Mm-hmm.
is extremely powerful. You can do it. You can do it. If you want it, think about it, envision it, be in
Mm-hmm.
alignment with what you want. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you have to be in.
Yes.
Have to be in alignment with
Absolutely.
what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And for me at that moment, that alignment was I wanted to nurture and care for my daughter so she would not have fear in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was needing that energy. And therefore, the universe said, okay, we can do this. We'll make that happen. I didn't even have to do anything. I didn't even
Yeah.
have to lift a finger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. You can be in alignment. So easy. So
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Yeah. I
Don't
think that's
overthink it.
what, no, and I feel like your example is like a perfect example of what I feel like spirit is really trying to drive home with everybody.
Mhm.
That intention, that you create your own reality.
Mhm.
It's really on what you project out from your thoughts, your belief system,
Yeah.
your movie screen, right? What film are you feeding that projector,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I think I love that example because it really is, it shows a lot of, yeah, why wouldn't when you are in alignment, connected, and I think that's, again, even it's not the topic of this one, but it's so imperative too and so beneficial when we work with our team, when we are in cahoots with our guides, we all work together. Teamwork makes the dream work,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, life shouldn't be that hard.
No, it
Shouldn't be
shouldn't.
that
It
hard. It
should
should be
not be that
fun.
hard. And, I think that this is going to sound so crappy because, well, we're posting this on social media, right?
Uh-huh.
But I think there's so many people that are consumed with social media that they're missing out on so much, and
Oh, I agree. I
they're
agree.
missing out on so many synchronicities, which I think are breadcrumbs from the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I take
So
that too. Hmm.
how do you know what's the next step if you're like this and you're looking at everybody else's steps in life,
Mm.
you know?
And comparing it, judging
Yeah,
off of everything you're seeing,
which
which
is crazy.
it's all fucking illusion anyways.
It is.
So
It
don't,
is.
don't even go there. And I think too that's also like ties into like being in the present. I just was thinking about this also. You see how many times you see concerts and shows and things, and what is like everybody doing? Phone, right?
Yeah,
Recording.
yeah.
But there was a
And
not
you're
to
right there in
and
person.
you're right
Yeah,
there. Like, just I noticed that even just anywhere. I'm like, wow, it can't just be this. Enjoy it for yourself,
yeah,
not constantly. Sure, if you want to take a short video or a picture, but the whole time,
yeah,
phone like this, or like, I don't know how you hold it, like
yeah.
this.
My my daughter just made this comment, one of my girls, when another one of my daughters, that was her birthday, and they're like, oh, did you see this picture? Did you take this video? Did you do that? I didn't, because I was too busy being in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. I
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused. And she's like, I want pictures. And I'm like, well, we'll have fun with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it doesn't even occur to me. It does not genuinely, well, you've been there when we've done different outings
Mm-hmm.
with tribe and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even enter my mind. And then we'll all get back and we'll go, oh crap, we didn't even get
Yeah.
a photo.
Oh shit.
We were gone for like,
Yeah.
a week. And we didn't even get a, because we're too enmeshed in enjoying the present
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
even consider, which I don't think a picture can capture, you know,
No, I
that.
know my husband said when one of them came back from, and he's like, I had two pictures. That's all I had, two pictures.
Yeah,
He's like,
I have
that's it.
zero.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I have. That's all I have. But it is like, I'm of the mindset of like, take the quick video, take the picture, whatever, but don't let it be the entirety of that experience.
Right.
And I also feel like, too, when you are practicing that, you're being more mindful of that.
Yeah.
You'll you'll you intuitively know when you and go into that reflection mode easier when
Mhm.
you are going through, shifts and changes and approaching fear and having the opportunity to shift your perspective. When you're practicing mindfulness in that way of just being a little bit more than you normally would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I encourage everybody to do that. Next time you're going to go to an event or an outing or something, don't touch your phone.
Yeah. Don't touch your phone.
Don't touch your phone. Just just let yourself be. Let
But we're
yourself be
kind of,
open.
and I'm not saying every household is like that, but we are very much a household where it's like when we have family dinners, which we still hold. I mean, my kids are all adults, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Do not bring your phone. Why can't
Yeah.
we wanna, there's like real humans right here
Yeah.
ready
Oh
to
yeah.
converse with you. And when they were like teenagers, I said that one time, and everybody was like, okay, not a thing. But they're not very media consumptive. I don't think, maybe that's just my perception, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're media junkies, where they have to
Yeah. We
uh
did it even when we go out to dinner. I would do that. The rule was you phones go on the table. So
yeah,
everyone would stack their phone at the edge of the table when we would go
yeah.
out. And when we're at home, it's, stuck, it's to the side, it's put away. But yeah. And then we used to keep, actually, I was just telling my daughter, uh, kicking back up again because we've just been so busy
Mhm.
with life. And we would keep a stack of like Uno cards on the dinner table. So that would be part of our tradition that we did. And just have that time, share, laugh, banter back and
Yeah,
forth, all that stuff. So,
it's so important to reconnect.
oh, absolutely.
You disconnect when you guys all go to work, go to school, go do your
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's so important to reconnect at some point. And I think, while you're feasting, while you're eating,
Mm-hmm.
it's the perfect time to do that. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's just a really, really good time to go, wow, I am connected to all these other humans. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to be heard, to be
Mm-hmm.
seen, and to be emotionally available for whatever they're sharing at that time. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. I'm sorry I digress so much off of our topic with that, but
No, I
I
think it
kind
all kind of flows into
of
each other because it all comes with, we're purging that part of our energy. It's alignment, it's moving past your fear, shifting your perspective.
yeah,
To move past your fear, you have to shift your perspective, kind
yeah,
of go hand in hand, being in the present moment, you know, and connecting with your team and having that quality time all opens you up to, like you say, like the breadcrumbs, the signs and synchronicities. I'm always on the hunt for signs and synchronicities because that's how I find my security of, okay, we're still trudging along,
yeah. If I'm not
you
having
know?
synchronicities, like if I am not noticing several
Mm-hmm.
synchronicities within, X amount of time, then I'm going to stop whatever is going on. I'm going to reflect. I'm going to sit with self and I'm going to go, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to shift? Is my vibration? Is my thought process? Is my emotional, whatever is
Mm-hmm.
going on? Because something's askew if I'm not seeing those synchronicities, you
Oh,
know?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And see, when you do that, I think like the perfect example too with that is when, I know we both talked about this before in previous episodes, but this is another reason why it's so important to know thyself, know your energy. Because when you have those reflections, you go through the assessment, right? I go through that whole checklist of where do I feel off? How's my mental mind? How's my emotions right now?
yep.
How is it relating to life? Stuff like that. You're going to get those responses within your body. And if you're not familiar with your energy,
Mhm.
you're not going to know what's what.
Yeah,
It's just going to go like in an ear and out an ear.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think all of it kind of lovingly ties together in one.
yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are mindful, if you're present and you get all the stuff, all the checklists out of your head, I don't care what you do. Put them on paper, put them on sticky notes, walk around with the journal. I don't care. Get them out of your head, right? You can actually become much more present and mindful of what's going on, and you'll see that
Mm-hmm.
the universe is literally talking to you by what's
Mm-hmm.
around you,
Yep.
literally speaking to you. If
Mm-hmm.
you are just observant, you'll see it. you will absolutely see it.
Oh yeah, because you made space.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
really, that's all it is. You just made
yeah.
space.
Whether,
So,
you're putting it in an iPad, you're sticking it in your phone. I mean, there's so many planners, so much crap out there that you can use. You can even get a notebook, write it down, whatever. Get it
mhm.
out of your head.
Oh
Trust
yeah.
that that notebook, that planner, that app, whatever, it's going to be right there as soon as you need it. It
Mhm.
doesn't need to live here. It's taking up so much space
Mhm.
that you're losing the ability to see what is surrounding you,
Oh
pointing you
yeah.
in the direction of where you need to go next.
I agree. Absolutely. Wow, this was a good topic. I think this was fun. It
Yeah,
went all kinds of ways.
I know. I again,
But
it's
that's
like
how we
Mario
work.
Kart,
So
but yeah.
that's how we work. But so I think we'll leave it off of on that note, make space, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us, for watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your energetic exchange and any likes, comments, and shares. And yeah, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Cool.
Until next
All
time.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.